And welcome to our regular board meeting, the School District of Springfield Township. Today is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. And I'm just going to do a quick welcome and start with a very special announcement, and that is the birthday of Dr. Yannicone, who is sitting next to me. So happy birthday to you.
There's nowhere I'd rather be. Right here with all of you.
Share my daughter's birthday.
Do I? Fantastic. Why, I'm Mary Jo. St. Joseph's Day.
Oh, look at that.
Indeed.
And I can tell by the blushing that singing happy birthday would
No,
not, would not be
prefer
welcome.
Prefer not. Thanks.
Very good. Well, I'll let you get your fame from your Wizards performance.
Thank you.
And we won't repeat.
Mhm.
All right, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in in a changing global community. Let's do roll call. Ms. Green.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Mrs. Green.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley.
Here.
Mrs. Hughes. Dr. Taratusky. Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Jordan. Mr. Bedard.
Here. Just one announcement. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of public school board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006 meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following each board meeting. And happy first day of spring. We're going to get into our reports and information, and I'm going to invite up Angela Beal-Tafik from the Multicultural Parents Association, be our first speaker.
There we go. Thank you so much. You guys are so wonderful. Our colleagues, Lauren and Jim, just being able to share them in. So I bring a welcome. Please, I'd like to share a few reminders. Our MPA book club will be on Thursday, March 21st. And this is just a friendly reminder to join us in reading our next book, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, which is a page-turning and big-hearted story about race and privilege set around a young Black babysitter, her well-intentioned employer, and a surprising connection that threatens to undo them. And I'm glad to also share that we will meet on Thursday, March 21st at the middle school library at 6:30 p.m. to discuss the book. And if you'd like to RSVP for the event, please do click on the link on our home web page. We'd also like to announce the wonderful VOE block party coming on Saturday, April 6th. And so mark your calendars and join the VOE for their first annual block party event. This event will replace their annual showcase. There will be fun for the entire family with food, trucks, games, the Springfield Township High School steppers, bounce house, and more. Tickets are $5 and can be purchased from any VOE student or the day on the day of the event, which will be held on Saturday again, April 6th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the high school. Our rain date is April 13th. And then we are holding in the month of May, an MPA mindfulness event on Mindfulness Monday on May 6th. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and MPA is kicking off the month with a free yoga event. Save the date. And so more information will be forthcoming. And then, of course, May 15th, International Water Safety Day. The district, we'd like to thank you always with the National Water Safety Action Plan for our country being passed. You guys have been an active proponent counting those numbers, but May 15th, we will definitely share that information to just announce and bring awareness to the importance of water safety on that day. Thank you.
We will now get an update from our homeschool partnership. I believe we have Ms. Christia Donahue. I do not see her online. Do we have a representative from the homeschool partnerships? Okay, we will come back if Ms. Donahue joins. We will now move to our student representative to the board, Ms. Nia Kennedy.
At Enfield, they had their 100th day of instruction on February 12th. Throughout the day, they had a lot of unique activities, such as watching a film that Mr. Fleming and Dr. Markle shared with the students after they finished 100 tasks around the school. They also updated their recycling program, which teaches students the value of recycling has had an immediate positive impact on the building and neighborhood thanks to the efforts of the Sustainability and Garden Committee. They are grateful to the EEHSP for organizing such a fantastic talent show this year. Students from Erdenheim and Enfield joined together on March 2nd to present 2 presentations that featured several performances deserving of an Oscar. At Erdenheim, they were honored to have the Voices of Excellence group from our high school present an assembly. They used a range of engaging techniques to teach the students about Black history, and the students thoroughly enjoyed it. They are acknowledging the women in their school also in the community during March in recognition of Women's History Month. They asked friends and family to share more about themselves in order to increase the value of this experience for their school. They are studying about a range of professions, including coding specialists and veterinarians. At the middle school, the district is appreciative of the $20,000 grant made on behalf of our orchestra program by the Kelsey Naylor Foundation and STEF. They will have the essential tools to extend their program into the middle school the next year thanks to this kind donation. The big check was given to our Erdenheim music students, instructors, and Principal Ben Spicer by Mandy Marone, a member of the STEF board. We appreciate STEF's and Kelsey Naylor's Foundation ongoing assistance with our students. On April 9th, during Flex, their inaugural mini Cedar will be hosted by their STMS JAG students. They invite you to join them for a Cedar where you can partake in some traditional Cedar meals and learn about Passover. At the high school, the Voice of Excellence group at STHS is organizing the VOE Block Party, a brand new event. Our yearly VOE Scholarship Showcase, where we raise funds for our scholarship fund, will be replaced by this VOE Block Party in an effort to unite the community for a fun-filled day. The VOE Block Party will feature an obstacle course, a bounce house, music, karaoke, dancing, food trucks, vendors, outdoor games, board games, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and raffles where guests can win gift cards and merchandise from nearby businesses. The event will take place outdoors at the high school on April 6, 2024, from 12 to 4 p.m., with a rain date on April 13th. Handling microaggressions, the second of our 3 No Place for Hate projects will be facilitated by the Spartan Culture Committee. Students will take part in the project by going to a grade level session that is taught by them. The goal is to empower, inform, and educate the STHS community as we strive to enhance the climate and culture of our school. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Great report. I do see that we have Ms. Donahue has joined us online. So Christia, if you want to do an update on the homeschool partnership, we'd love to have you on.
Hi, so sorry. I am actually at our family book fair night. So we had our first family book fair night that we brought back since before COVID. And I can report that it's been a huge success this first hour. That's why I was a few minutes late. But we're very excited. We've had a very successful 2 weeks of our Scholastic Book Fair. So children have been shopping and we've been fulfilling our teacher wish list as well, which has been exciting. We're looking forward to our designer bag bingo. Tickets are still on sale. That's Saturday, April 6th. We welcome all community members to attend. It'll be at Holy Martyrs in Orland at 6 p.m. And we have a few more tickets left. It's almost sold out. And we are also still looking for sponsors, any business community sponsors. If anybody's interested, they can email us at our president's email at ehsp.org. And then we're also gearing up for our big spring carnival coming on Sunday, May 19th. So tickets will go on sale soon with that. And we're excited for a really fun afternoon for our students and community at the carnival this year. I think that wraps it up for our spring events.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you stepping away from the event this evening as well. All right, any comments or questions from the board on Multicultural Parents Association, Homeschool Partnership, or student updates? Very good. All right, I just want to brace the public. We now have updates from 3 committee meetings that were record lengths, four committee meetings that were record lengths. So our report outs are also quite meaty. We will start with Property Committee and have Mr. Neil DeFranco.
Thank you. So Property Committee met last Tuesday, March 12th. This meeting was by Zoom. Board members present, Ms. Bell, myself, Mr. Needleman, Dr. Taratusky, Mr. Bedard, and Mr. Jordan. I can speak. I'll get it together. From the administration, we had Dr. Yannicone, Ms. Green, Mr. Thorne, Mr. Watley, and Ms. Jenko. And we also had our student advisory committee or member, Chase Rubencam. On the agenda, we received an update on the middle school renovation addition project. This included a presentation given by Dewey Engineers and the Schrader Architects. We reviewed the schematics of the new additions and renovations. We discussed the timeline, next steps, and a budget overview. Next up, we did a capital and summer projects update where we discussed the upcoming projects, including the Erdenheim accessibility ramp installation, the next phase of the high school partial roof replacement, the main electrical utility pole installation or replacement at the corner of Hawes Lane and Springfield Way, the upcoming high school stadium scoreboard, which should be installed in April, and then following that, the athletic track timing system, which I believe will happen over the summer. And then the high school pool acoustical treatments for noise level reduction, maintenance building work, transportation facility work, and then in-house maintenance and custodial cleaning summer projects. We discussed the maintenance garage fire that occurred on March 6th. Response time of staff and local fire was rapid. Building sprinklers successfully activated and extinguished the fire. It was caused by an electrical short due to storm water infiltration. There were no injuries. We received an update on the campus assessment study. This is a district-wide study being performed by Dewey Engineers. It includes all mechanical, electrical, structural, grounds, safety, and building envelope issues and concerns. The study will be used to generate a 5-year capital improvement plan. Finally, we reviewed the Director of Operations Transition Plan. Mr. Watley, the incoming director, will start on March 20th, and there will be a 3-day crossover period with Mr. Thorne to bring Mr. Watley up to speed. Is 3 days going to be enough? With all that knowledge. Of course, for more information and to see the detailed discussions, please consider reviewing the video recordings of this committee meeting. There were no public comments and future meeting dates are to be determined.
Thank you, Mr. DeFranco. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Moving on to our next update from Academic Affairs Committee, we will have Ms. Carla Green report out.
Good evening. Academic Affairs Committee met March 12th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. The committee members, Dr. Karen Taratosky, Eileen Bell, myself, Carla Green, Amy Hubley, Dr. Mary Jo Yannicone, Dr. Damian Johnston, Olivia Tao, which is a student representative, along with Ronan Colina. Additional panelists, we were quite full at the meeting with Dr. Chuck Rittenhouse, Dr. Zach Fuller, Mr. Ben Spicer, Dr. Megan Markle, Dr. Michelle Lutz, Dr. Scott Jurgen, Mr. Brandon Lutz, Mr. John Fears, Ms. Megan Skamika, and Kate Whitaker. The following was discussed: curriculum resource adoptions. The district administrative team brought forward 3 recommendations for new curricular resources.
Dr. Johnson provided an overview of the process of textbook resource adoption, which aligns to Board Policy 108. The district process is available on the website, and I just really do encourage you to look at the process for adoption. It is very extensive. Before we even get to this point, there's a lot done before that point. Each project was presented, including the purpose and goals of the adoption, input from the faculty, and rationale for the selection. Each project was presented individually with representatives from the administrative team, the building principals, and faculty teacher leaders. After discussion, review, and questions, the Academic Affairs Committee approved moving each selection to the upcoming board meeting, which is tonight. The selections will be heard later. I'm not going to repeat them now because you're going to hear them later as they're going to be presented to you. Additionally, there were proposed program additions, changes, and removals. Dr. Johnson introduced recommendations from the administration and faculty for additions, changes, and removals to courses in our school program. Faculty members and administrators joined the meeting to provide additional details, and we thank you for taking time on that evening after a busy day for doing that. They provided details and rationale for each recommended action. After discussion, review, and questions, the Academic Affairs Committee approved moving each selection forward. Where additional costs or staffing are necessary for implementation, the Academic Affairs Committee members reported working with the Finance Committee to indicate their support and commitment to these projects and changes. I am going to mention some of the recommendations here. Elementary health, K through 5. There's a recommendation there. High school career technology department entering into a dual enrollment program with the University of Pitt. High school English language development department. There's recommendation there. Counseling department, want to mention the addition of 1 full-time counselor to support enhanced post-secondary planning services beginning in grade 9. And it will also support the reduction of student counselor ratio to under 200 per counselor. And then also there were some extracurricular program additions, global scholars, varsity and JV volleyball, Junior National Honor Society, and the orchestra. There are also additional proposed changes in technology and music and physical education and also in science. And then there were a couple course removals that were also proposed. Mr. Brandon Lutz, the Director of Technology, joined the committee to provide an overview of 2 initiatives impacting the academic program in our district. The first item was updating participants on the newly established Artificial Intelligence Committee. Mr. Lutz shared an overview of the process and ongoing learning for the district personnel and the current process of creating AI guidelines for the board to review in the months ahead. Mr. Lutz also shared the recommendation for new teacher laptops. The new lease for these machines came well under budget and frees up funds for other priorities in the upcoming year. The recommended purchase of ASUS ExpertBook B3 Flip will be presented for approval on this evening. There were no public comments at this meeting, and our next meeting date will be April 9th, 2024. Thank you.
That was quite a concise review of what I heard was a marathon meeting, so congrats on that. Any comments or questions from the board on academic affairs? Okay. Moving to Finance Committee report, and we'll head back to Mr. DeFranco.
And I have 2 Finance Committee reports. So we'll start with our February 27th meeting. This happened 8 a.m. in the morning via Zoom. Committee members, myself, we had Ms. Hughes, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Needleman. From the administration, Dr. Yannicone, Ms. Green, Ms. Jenko, and Mr. Bray. On the agenda, we started off with the 2024 borrowing for the middle school project. This included a presentation by PFM Financial Advisors with an update on the municipal market, a review of existing outstanding debt, and a discussion of the district's $30 million borrowing plan to fund the middle school renovation and addition project. Rates are below the historic averages for long-term borrowing. The borrowing plan includes 3 more bank-qualified $10 million borrowings, with the next one April 2024, I believe, this year. Working with $10 million borrowings results in favorable interest rates and shorter call features for added financial flexibility. Debt service payments would be in a wraparound structure to help manage debt service costs over time. The next bond issuance is on the agenda tonight. Next, we discussed a needed authorization to purchase a 27-passenger lift bus for $122,225. Typical lead time for this type of purchase is between 12 and 18 months. One was available immediately to replace an existing 2006 24-passenger bus. Previously allocated capital reserve funds for bus replacements will be utilized. Finance Committee authorized the business administrator and director of transportation to purchase the bus. This purchase is on the agenda for ratification tonight. Finally, we reviewed the proposed state budget. The following items covered in Governor Shapiro's budget have the potential to impact the 2024-2025 Springfield budget. Basic education funding increase of $1.1 billion with an estimated potential impact of an additional $116,000 to Springfield. A special education funding increase of $50 million with an estimated potential impact of an additional $18,000 to Springfield. Cyber charter reform with the establishment of a statewide cyber tuition rate of $8,000 per student. Currently, we pay approximately $17,000 per general education student and $38,000 per special education student enrolled at cyber charters. School safety and security grant allocations have not been determined yet. None of this has been finalized. This is just a proposed budget. There were no public comments at this meeting, and the next meeting occurred on Friday, March 15th. I'll start that next report. I was in attendance along with Ms. Hughes, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Bedard. From the administration, we had Dr. Yannicone, Ms. Green, and Ms. Genko. On the agenda, we started off again with the middle school renovation project financing update. This included an update on phase 1 of the multi-year borrowing that took place last year. So I previously mentioned 3 additional borrowings. Really, it's 4. We did 1 last year. So now we've got 3 more coming up. The middle school project is currently projected to cost approximately $32.5 million. We reviewed the next 3 borrowings. These were previously discussed at our February Finance Committee meeting, as I summarized earlier. Next, we discussed the proposed 2024-2025 district budget. We reviewed the district guiding principles. We reviewed where we currently are within the budget process timeline. The Pennsylvania Act 1 index for the 2024-2025 school year is 5.3%. The proposed district budget would result in a 4.5% increase for Springfield. We reviewed revenue assumptions, including real estate tax revenue, real estate transfer tax revenue, earned income tax revenue, other local revenues, state revenue based on a conservative allocation from the 2023-2024 year, not using the proposed budget for next year, and of course, federal revenues. We reviewed expenditure assumptions, including salaries and benefits, new positions, other contractual obligations, curriculum costs, technology costs, and facilities maintenance and debt service. With the proposed budget of a 4.5% increase in the millage rate for 2024-2025, expenditures are anticipated to be $72,235,712. Revenues are anticipated to be $71,345,725. The difference of $889,987 would be supplemented from fund balance. The anticipated impact on the median homeowner would be $21.43 per month or $257.11 for the year. Finally, who says 0.11? Finally, we reviewed a proposed property tax rebate program. This program would benefit seniors and permanently disabled homeowners and renters. Eligibility would mirror the existing Pennsylvania Department of Revenue program. The recommendation is to match the existing state rebate program, providing an additional $650 rebate to eligible residents. Residents would need to be approved for the state rebate program to be eligible for this program. The plan is to implement this for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The anticipated budget impact is between $30,000 and $40,000. So next steps, the proposed final budget will be reviewed by the Finance Committee on April 18th. The proposed final budget will be voted on at the interim board meeting on May 7th. And then the final budget will be voted on at the regular board meeting on June 18th, along with the homestead farmstead exclusion and annual tax levy resolution. Again, for more information and to see the detailed discussions, please consider reviewing the video recordings of these committee meetings. There were no public comments, and our future meeting date is Thursday, April 18th, 8 a.m. by Zoom. Thank you.
Great updates. Any comments or questions from the board?
Can I make a quick comment? Just a PSA of sorts, just for members of the public I would just want to encourage participation and attendance at these committee meetings. I know sometimes there's some comments that. Yeah. Thank you. Putting a microphone in front of me is a dangerous thing sometimes. I just want to encourage members of the public to attend the committee meetings. This is where all the push and pull board work happens. This is where a lot of the work is done. I know when we get to the business meeting, which is what we're at now, it looks like we just run everything through and it's all bread and roses, but the committee work is where all the work is really done. I know I'm talking to everybody who knows what I'm talking about right now, but this is for members of the public. I really do want to encourage participation at that. And with that, I'll end the public service announcement. Turn things back over to Mr. Bedard. Thank you.
It's actually a great comment because I think I want to just thank all the board members and administrators who prepared for these meetings. I thought really robust discussion over the last couple of weeks on some pretty complex and important issues. So I know everybody leaned into that work. So thank you. Okay, that concludes our reports and information. And now we are on to the main event. We've got a special Spartan Spotlight tonight, and I will turn it over to Dr. Yannicone for those updates.
Thank you very much. I'll just give you a few pieces of news and information for the public, and I know many of these things we've talked about among the board. We had a wellness fair. I want to thank Dr. Lutz, who's actually on virtually. We had a wellness fair with over 20 vendors on March 13th. We want to thank the members of the community who participated in that fair. We had great attendance. We also debuted our new mascot, who was well liked by the students who were in attendance, so that was nice to see as well. Last week, we also had a visiting author, and it's been great to get back to our visiting authors and artists. We want to thank our local home and school association for their support of the visiting authors. John Para was our elementary school visiting author, did a fantastic job with the students. They really enjoyed themselves. As Nia mentioned, we had, and I believe Ms. Green also mentioned, we had a wonderful donation of $20,000 from the Kelsey Naylor Foundation through our education foundation, the Springfield Township Education Foundation. It's a significant donation. It's the most significant donation we've received from the Ed Foundation to date, and it is covering all of our needed instruments for the expansion of the program into the middle school. So it's going to cover remaining orchestra instruments, not only at Erdenheim, but also at the middle school, which is a fantastic purchase for us. We also had in the last couple of weeks 2 different musical productions. We had Guys and Dolls at the high school and Into the Woods, one of my personal all-time faves, at the middle school. 2 fantastic productions, and we want to thank our directors for their work and everybody who contributed to those performances. Over the weekend, we also had great results for our girls and boys swimming and diving teams. Our girls team scored their highest rank ever in Springfield Township history. We were 3rd out of over 170 teams, which is amazing for a school of our size. Just did a phenomenal job. And our boys team placed 5th out of 170 teams. So outstanding results for both programs this weekend. We've also started spring sports in grades 7 through 12, and I'm really grateful to all of our coaches, as well as the members of our grounds crew, some of them who are here tonight, our trainer and our athletic directors for all their hard work in supporting our student athletes. We have a very large group of students involved in activities this spring, so excited to see that getting off the ground this last week. Spring break begins on Friday afternoon. I think we're all ready for it. And I want to wish our families a wonderful week of time with family and friends. Our schools will reopen on Monday, April 1st. That is not an April Fool's joke. All right, we'll be back on Monday, April 1st. And then I also have had a few inquiries about what are we doing as a district about the solar eclipse on Monday, April 8th. So I want you to know that we are taking a close look at the timing of the eclipse, and we'll be sharing some information with the community, both staff and families, by the end of the week. Our athletic department, our building principals, Mr. Bray, who's also here this evening, our transportation director, have been looking closely at the potential impact of the solar eclipse on our dismissal on Monday, April 8th, as well as some terrific educational opportunities. Also want to share with regard to board motions tonight, pretty much everything's been covered by the reports, but I will mention to you, there's a June trip of our high school thespian society. The dates were changed since our last meeting. So we're asking you to reapprove that trip with the new dates. We also have a settlement agreement under academic affairs. You'll see, as you know, that's a confidential settlement agreement. And then I'd really like to thank our department coordinators, committee volunteers, principals, and Dr. Johnston for her diligence and everyone's diligence in bringing the proposals forward. These are significant adoptions that we're looking at in K-5 ELA, middle school and high school science. We realize that these are significant recommendations, and we're really grateful to the Academic Affairs Committee for your overwhelming support of the work of the team. Also really want to thank Mr. Lutz for his work in bringing in new teacher laptops with enhanced features at a lower cost. So I don't know what magic trick he was able to perform in the last few months, but we're doing a great job there and very grateful to Mr. Lutz. And then under the board section of the agenda, you're going to see proposed dates for next year's board meetings. So around this time every year, we propose to you next year's schedule. If the board agrees, we'll get them onto the calendar and get moving, getting prepared for next year. And the last item on my report is our Spartan Spotlight. We have a really special celebration tonight of Mr. Craig Thorne, our Director of Operations. Mr. Thorne has been with us for 12 years. Why don't you come on up and come up here to the podium so we can praise you one at a time. I know how much you enjoy the spotlight, Craig, so this is fantastic. Craig has been with us for 12 years, and he's just a fantastic Director of Operations and a really great person. He just celebrated his 60th birthday last week. We are fellow Pisces. And so I want to just personally, before we bring up some of his colleagues, want to say thank you to Mr. Thorne for all of your hard work over the years. He's overseen, as you know, numerous projects for the district. I don't think there's a building that hasn't been touched by renovation, addition, or complete renewal under his leadership. So we owe a great deal to him with regard to what our campus is today. He's really dedicated to excellence. This is a much-deserved retirement that he has been talking about for the last year, at least with me. He's known for a year or so that he wanted to finish up this spring. And we really want to wish him a lot of happiness in his future. He's going to hunt and fish and take care of his grandkids and enjoy his wife and his children. And we're super excited for him. And we have some members of the team who are going to come up and say a few words. So, Steve, Mr. Chinta, come on up. I think the microphone is on. Yeah, you're going to stay right there and listen to all this praise.
Got it, Steve? Got it. You guys can join me up here.
I think if you go over to the podium, then Josh will be able to take care of the camera.
All right.
That'd be great. Thank you. And Mr. Thorne, you can go right up beside.
Yeah, sure.
So the viewers at home can see you. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Dr. Yannicone and the school board for the opportunity to speak tonight in recognition and honor of Craig and his retirement. Though I have only been here for 2.5 years, I quickly learned the tremendous impact Craig has had on his operations team and the school district of Springfield Township. Craig is highly respected by his entire team, as well as the faculty and staff here at Springfield. No job was too big or small for Craig, whether it was grabbing a weed whacker or pulling a raccoon from a drain. Craig was always ready to jump in and work with his team. It is his work ethic that motivates his team to give their all, and in many, many cases go above and beyond what's expected. One event that has remained in my mind was during my first year here, the start of my first year in the district. Craig, along with members of the team at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, were down in a pit outside of Erdenheim replacing a part that was causing a water pressure issue. I was on my way back from New York City picking up the part. I was impressed with how Craig was down in that pit fixing the issue. I was impressed with how involved everybody wanted to be from our team. Everybody was willing to be there. I was impressed how everybody worked together. I was then, and I am now, honored to be a part of this family. This is understandably a bittersweet time for this team, especially for Carrie, who has worked even closer with Craig than all of us standing here. On behalf of Carrie, I will read a few words from her. Since the time Craig joined our district, he has been distinguished for his steadfast attitude and due diligence towards his job. His attitude towards work is truly inspirational, encouraging others to work harder, to set new benchmarks of achievement. Despite holding the position of the director, he was never afraid to get in the trenches and get his hands dirty. He has truly been the anchor in the department. After having been under his expert supervision, I have learned tremendous wealth of knowledge from day-to-day operations and major construction. Craig, on behalf of the operations team, thank you for your leadership and dedication to Springfield. Thank you for leading your team by example. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this team. We wish you the best in all your future endeavors and enjoy fishing and hunting. Next, we will have Phil Hesden.
Good evening. For 31 years, Craig has been working in schools, and starting Friday, the next time Craig walks into school, it will hopefully be to watch his grandkids be in the play, win an award, or playing sports. The time has come for Craig to not to worry about keeping schools up and running, but enjoy all that he has been looking forward to: fishing, having a beer, and enjoying his family. Craig, I thank you for all your support throughout the years and wish you the best in your retirement. Thanks, Craig.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Evans, the district plumber. I want to thank the superintendent as well as the board members for giving us this time to thank our facility director, Craig Thorne. Craig, we really admire the years of dedication to your colleagues, the staff, as well as this district. Personally, I want to thank you for seeing the potential that I would have for this district. Working for this district really has been a blessing, and I thank you for that opportunity. It's impossible to really measure what Craig has meant to this district all these years, and I know I speak for everyone when I say this is a bittersweet moment. Saying goodbye to a coworker, but more importantly, a friend who really has meant so much. But we are all happy that Craig now will have the time to kick back, get off this treadmill, as it were, and to do what he wants. And I'll just finish with a quick quote from Fred Rogers. He said, "Often when you think you're at the end of something, you're at the beginning of something else." So Craig, enjoy the beginning of your something else. Thank you.
Just one thing I forgot to mention on behalf of Matt. Thank you. Matt said thank you for hiring him. Yeah. But again, Craig, thank you for your years of service here in Springfield and just giving us all an opportunity to not just work for you, but work with you and to be friends. So thank you, Craig, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much to everybody from Craig's team. I know their day starts very early in the morning, and so we're grateful that you guys were able to be here tonight to say farewell to Craig. Mr. Thorne, is there anything you'd like to say?
There you go. Now, I would like to say thank you to the past and present board members. Thank you for all your support over the years. And to Dr. Yannico and all the administrators for great support, great leadership. And Mr. Sultanic for all the advice over the years. So, and thank you. And you can see how wonderful of a crew and how enjoying it is to work with everybody. They're just wonderful. Maintenance operations doesn't work without these people. And I think they do an outstanding job. So It's been my pleasure to work with them, with you guys. And that's about it. That's all she wrote. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thorne. And with that, I conclude my report.
Mr. Thorne, on behalf of the board, I just want to add, I was thinking about this in our last property committee meeting when I think we realized it would be your last. You knew that ahead of time. You were pretty excited about it, it seemed. But there are few careers where you have the opportunity to so tangibly leave a legacy. And you've not only left a legacy, but you've taken the opportunity to do it at such a high level that it will definitively set the course for how we move forward. So thank you for leaving your mark on the district. It means a lot to us. Yeah.
Can I ask one?
Yeah.
Because I know how proper everybody is, I want to allow you to step out of the meeting at this point. You're welcome to stay for all the agenda items, but you do not need to stay for the agenda items. You have an early start in the morning. Thank you. They wouldn't have moved if that did. This isn't a bad idea. Dr. Johnson, maybe you could help? Mr. Bedard was asking about perhaps a picture of you guys together. We could take it.
Like, this is a great background.
Yeah, right here, right here.
Maybe the
Would you
board
like, and the
too?
board as well?
Yeah, let's do
Can you
it.
take
Let's do a big
everybody up?
picture.
All
Let's do a
right.
big picture. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, members of the public that are hanging online for that quick little sidebar, but wanted to take a quick picture. And speaking of members of the public, we are going to move to public comments on agenda items, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Needleman.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bedard. At this time, we'll take public comment on agenda items. I do want to remind everybody, we have a 3-minute time limit, and I'm going to ask before you make your comment, please just let us know where you live in the township. I don't see anyone who's joining us live in person has signed up, so I'll throw it over to the folks joining us online. If you want to speak on an agenda item, please raise your hand and we'll get to you. And I do not see any hands raised, so maybe we can give it a few more seconds and we'll move on.
All right, thank you. Seeing no hands raised, we'll move into the business agenda. We have two reports and minutes to approve here. I'll start with approval of minutes from our February 20th, 2024 regular hybrid board meeting. The Board of School Directors approves the board minutes from February 20th, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are good. Approval of our treasurer's report. The Board of School Directors approves the February 29th, 2024 treasurer's report. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. All right, any comments or questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Report is good. Moving on to human resources, our personnel file. Recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment. Confidential personnel, certificate personnel, that's close enough. Support personnel, temporary personnel, 2024 extended school year program personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities, and a conference workshop attendance. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on personnel? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we're good on personnel. Moving to academic affairs. Recommended action for thespian troop 1154 is the Board of School Directors approves the overnight trip for thespian troop 1154 to Bloomington, Indiana, to attend the 2024 International Thespian Festival at the University of Indiana with new dates of June 23rd through June 29th, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you. A second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are good on thespian troop. Next topic, the 2024-2027 K through 12 guidance plan. And this was a lot of pages to review. So thank you for that. Our recommended action here. The Board of School Directors approves the submission of the School District of Springfield Township K through 12 guidance plan. This approval comes after approval from Academic Affairs and having completed the required 30-day public review period. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on the K through 12 guidance plan? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Guidance plan is good to go. Next, English Language Arts Program. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors, upon recommendation from the Academic Affairs Committee, approves the agreement and purchase of an 8-year agreement between Amplify and the School District of Springfield Township for Amplify CKLA for a cost of $521,679.20 as per the attached. Amplify CKLA is a comprehensive English language arts program to be implemented and utilized in grades K through 5, beginning in September of 2024. Teacher learning and orientation will begin in spring of 2024. This 8-year agreement includes durable, consumable, and digital resources for students and faculty and professional learning for 1 year. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. In a second. Lots of motions here. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Very good. We are moving forward with Amplify. Next, Harcourt Science Dimension. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors, upon recommendation from the Academic Affairs Committee, approves the agreement and purchase of a 6-year agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and HMH for the HMH Science Dimensions for a total cost of $192,424.44 as per the attached. HMH Science Dimensions is an integrated middle school science program to be implemented and utilized in grades 6 through 8, beginning in September of 2024. Teacher learning and orientation will begin spring of 2024. The 6-year agreement includes durable, consumable, and digital resources and materials for students and faculty and initial professional learning for faculty. Is there a motion? Thank you. A second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we're good to move forward with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. Next is Savas High School Biology. Recommended action here. The Board of School Directors, upon recommendation from the Academic Affairs Committee, approves the agreement and purchase of an 8-year agreement between Savas and the School District of Springfield Township for Miller and Levine Biology for a total cost of $28,888 as per the attached. Miller and Levine Biology is a program to be implemented and utilized in all high school biology courses beginning in September 2024. Teacher learning and orientation will begin spring 2024. The 8-year agreement includes durable and digital resources and materials for students and faculty and initial professional learning for faculty. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. All those in, wait, I didn't ask for any comments or questions. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that will pass. Next, a confidential settlement and release. Recommended action. The Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student 2024-0319-01. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The settlement and release will pass. Moving on to finance. First up is bond parameters resolutions. Recommended action here. The Board of School Directors approves a resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds in the amount of up to $12 million for purposes of repairs, renovations, additions, and improvements to Springfield Township Middle School, various other capital improvements to school facilities and school buildings owned and operated by the school district, and paying the costs and expenses related to the issuance of bonds. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on this motion? I just have one question for a point of clarity from Ms. Green. We talked about the borrowings being $10 million borrowings. This obviously authorizes the 12 million. If you could help explain the rationale for that.
Sure, in all of our bond parameters resolutions, the flexibility of up to $12 million is required as part of DCD when we file. The actual issuance of the bonds will be under that $10 million, but for the actual bond parameters piece, that flexibility is needed up to 12. So while you are authorizing up to 12, the actual bid and when we do the bond, it'll be under that bank qualified of 10 million.
Great. Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. We will move forward. Second, under finance is teacher laptops. The recommended action here, Board of School Directors approves the 3-year term lease agreement with Vantage Financial, not to exceed $300,000 or 300 ACES expert books pending final solicitor review and approval. Is there a motion? Thank you. A second. Any comments or questions on teacher laptops? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Very good. Teachers will have new laptops. Next, Bright Bill Body Works. The recommended action here. The Board of School Directors ratifies the purchase of a 27-passenger lift school bus as recommended by the Finance Committee for an amount of $122,225 per Sourcewell contract pricing. Is there a motion? In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the purchase of this bus? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right, we'll move forward with the new bus. And that concludes our business agenda. We're going to announce some upcoming board meeting dates. Oh, wait. Oh, that's an actual motion. That's not announcing. Okay. Thank you for correcting me in public on the microphone. You're supposed to hit mute. Just kidding, it's fine. All right, we have a board motion for meeting dates for 2024, 2025. I know everyone's looking to put those on their calendars and get ready. And I see everything was moved to Friday evenings.
Yes, why not?
That is a joke for the public. It will remain on Tuesdays. All right, the
That's right.
It's just- the recommended action here is the Board of School Directors approves the attached board meeting dates for the 2024 and 2025 school year. Again, per the attachment. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, we are set for our board meeting dates for next year. That concludes the business on our agenda, and now we'll move to public comment on non-agenda items. Mr. Needleman.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bedard. At this time, we'll take public comment on non-agenda items. Again, we have a 3-minute time limit, and I'll ask anyone who wants to speak, just let us know where you live in the township, please. I see that the folks who are joining us live in person, and no one has signed up to speak, so I'll look to the folks joining us online and see if they want to speak. If you do, please raise a digital hand anyway and let us know you want to speak. And I don't see any hands raised, so maybe we can give it another 30 seconds and then call it a night. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Needleman. Seeing no hands, we will now announce future meeting dates that are just upcoming. So we first have a cancellation. Our interim board meeting, which was preliminarily scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024, has been canceled. Our next regular board meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 16th, 2024. This will remain a hybrid meeting, but we'd love to see you in person here at the Audion located at the middle school next to the cafeteria. And we do have some future committee meeting dates on the calendar. Academic Affairs will meet again on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. This is a 5:30 p.m. meeting, virtual only. We have a Finance Committee meeting on Thursday, April 18th, 2024. That's at 8 a.m., also virtual. And a Policy Committee meeting in April. The date for that will be announced at a future date. All details for how to register for these meetings for the public are available on the district website, and that's where the Policy Committee date will be added once that is scheduled. And with that, we've come to closing statements. So I want to open up to the board. Any comments or questions or statements that anyone from the board would like to make this evening?
I just have a question. What drives the canceled meeting? Does that mean something? Like, was it on the calendar in case we needed something or?
Yes, we typically schedule 2 meetings, the interim and the regular board meeting. And if we have motions that we believe we'll need in that timeline, we'll hold the interim meeting as we typically do in September and October, and then again in May and June. But we have been able to condense the business such that we only need the regular meetings through the winter months. So far, so good. So we'll see you on April 16th.
That's a great question. All right, any other comments, questions? All right, happy first day of spring.
I do have a
Happy-
comment, I'm sorry.
Oh, please.
I just would like to publicly thank Dr. Johnson for her work and the teamwork of the teachers and administrators for what they did in terms of courses and reviewing everything and getting all that information to the academic committee. It actually was almost a 2-hour meeting that we reported in about a minute. But a lot of work went into that. And so I just wanted to openly recognize that. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you for recognizing that. I will leave final words to the birthday doctor herself.
I'm all good. I'm all good. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks everybody for joining. We're adjourned.